Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my friends, and welcome back to the Cozy Club. It is here. The Snow White Legendary event has landed into Disney Sorcerer's Arena. And guys, today we're going to have a little bit of a different video. I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions of the Fairest of them all event. We're going to be taking a look and telling you guys what miners / 7 dwarves to go after first, what are the most important, and my overall first impressions of both Snow White's kit with the miners and the princesses and the miners all together. So we've got a lot to cover. We're going to do it all in one take. So let's go ahead and jump right to business and take a look at the Fairest of them all event. Alrighty, guys, so here we go. We've got the event right here, and the first thing you're going to notice about the event, guys, is it is 21 days long. That is absolutely the longest legendary event that we have ever had, and so that is good news for free-to-play. And I have other pockets of good news if you are either going to be lightly going after Snow White or just want an opinion on the entire thing. So, going into the Fairest of them all event, we've got Snow White, and of course, you are going to need the 7 dwarves and the 7 miners. Now, we've got a lot of different events and a lot of things to go through, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of break down the event. Now, the first thing I want to go ahead and point out is it is very actually farmable friendly, especially at 21 days. Most, if not a lot of you guys, if you're not working on any current projects, should be able to get a 5-star Snow White the first time around, and I'll get to it later, but 5-star is going to be plenty to really have Snow White do the majority of her kit. So, we're going to go ahead and talk about what miners are the most important to farm for the event, and then which ones separately I think are better. Now, if you're on the fence, they're not game-changing. I'll get to kind of my sum up, and it's hard to really sum them up from one playtest, but this is my first impressions after all. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and say is, when it comes to farming the miners, the first two are really the ones that you want to make sure you get up. This is going to be your goal. Your goal to unlock Snow White is going through 1 all the way up to the 6th event here. This event is going to allow you to unlock Snow White, and you're going to need a bunch of the different characters. Now, you're going to notice that the 7 dwarves are not going to be all important for each and every one of these. However, when it's all said and done, you're going to want a 6-star Grumpy, a 5-star Sneezy, a 6-star Happy, and a 6-star Bashful. And of course, you're obviously going to want the other ones like Doc, like Sleepy, like Dopey, and you're going to need all of them. But the core mechanics is going to be a 6-star for pretty much all of them outside of Sneezy and Doc. You actually don't even need Doc, which is going to be great, but we'll get to that at another time. So, Doc is only required for the 7-star, but you're going to need them at 6 stars. So, if you want to just know cut and dry, like the requirements to get Snow White in these 21 days, it will be 6-star for all of them. Now, you're going to notice they're not going to be all in the same ones, and it's going to be kind of difficult to get to farming them just on the nodes themselves. However, I do have to say, guys, the auto mechanic here to go ahead and farm gives a good amount of shards. Like you can see, we did just 2 there, and I happen to already have 1 at 7-star, but we got 6 for both drops, and mine's at 500 because I tried to get this day 1, but you definitely don't have to use a lot of refreshes, and you're going to get yourself a lot of farming materials for the 7 miners. And so right off the bat, it's pretty free-to-play friendly in that regard when discussing who to go after. Now, the next thing I want to go ahead and point out, let's go ahead and go and take a look at the miners and Snow White herself. Now, the first thing I want to say, guys, and it's probably the most important thing, the biggest feature around the 7 dwarves is that they've got an amazing harmful effect called Break. The only problem is that Break is currently not working as intended, and so we're unable to really see the true potential of what they can all do. But let me go ahead. We're going to have videos coming out all week. I'll have one separately for Snow White, but I do want to give you kind of my first initial gut reaction to how they're going to be. Now, first of all, we've got to say with utmost confidence, let's talk about the miners. They're going to be great in the raid, and they do pretty good in PvP. But I'm going to let you know, guys, they get absolutely hard countered by both Beast and Maleficent. Really, guys, Maleficent's event just came around, and if you use her leadership against the 7 miners, they're not going to be able to do anything because the entire kit is based on turn meter. Whereas the other hand, they're going to be giving so much turn meter that Beast by himself will be able to take out the majority of them. So that's good news for those that aren't invested into these characters. You're going to have characters that can already counter them. However, let's go ahead and take a look. Now, first gut impressions. My opinion, Grumpy is going to be the best of the bunch. Grumpy hits the most damage. He tends to stay alive the most. He has a great counterattack. Grumpy is probably the most important of the 7 dwarves outside of probably one other, which is obviously Doc. Now, I've got a problem with Doc in the sense that Doc is not used to get Snow White, so you really don't need him right away. And unless you're going straight for 7-star and for raid teams, that's where Doc's going to be utilized. He is going to be a Sorcerer's Chosen. This leadership is going to be great, and we'll talk about the miners altogether. But you're not going to use his lead in PvP, or at least for the time being. He's getting hard countered way too much, and Doc just simply doesn't do enough. However, Doc and Grumpy are going to be my top 2 favorites without question. Now, after that, it's kind of confusing, and it kind of gets a little more tough. I would put most of your gear into Grumpy. Bashful is very good for the raids and pretty solid for PvP, so that would also be another great investment. And surprisingly, Sneezy is doing a lot in PvP if that is your thing. So that's who I would focus on, and I would give the loser award here to Sleepy, and outside of the speed, I would give it to Dopey. Sleepy is honestly going to be good for just one thing and one thing only, and that will be within the raids. He will have a lot of potency, but outside of that, isn't going to offer enough for your team. So you're going to need all of them to get Snow White, but for those that you want to invest deeply into, especially Gear 9 standards, I would go with Grumpy or Doc. Now, I only have a 5-star Snow White. They had no way to really get Snow White past that day 1. But let's talk about the snow, and let's talk about the good and the bad and the ugly. Again, I'm going to have a whole video talking about Snow White, but to quickly just talk about what she does well. Snow White, number 1, is in the best faction in the game, and I can say with full confidence the Princess faction is the team to beat. They're going to be the best faction in the game for the foreseeable future, and Merida is putting out more damage than we've ever seen in any meta and in really any history, outside of maybe like a T8 Go-Go when she came out, or Dash, but extremely, extremely powerful. So taking a look at Snow White, really strong kid, and again, I'm going to break down a full video with her. But the best part about Snow is the thing she does as a support character, meaning you can take her to 5 stars and she's still going to do great. I tested her all day. She did very solid at 5 stars. And if you have the Princess faction, congratulations, you have one of the best teams in the game. Now, quickly, just want to say both of her passives are what really does it for the Princess. That Was Fun is, without question, an amazing passive for Merida. And then Sleeping Death. Sleeping Death has got to be my favorite thing that Snow White has in her entire kit. Essentially, guys, she is taking every AoE that we have ever seen. Let's go full screen. Every AoE that we have ever seen in the game. Hercules Column, Mickey Mouse's Disneyland Forever. Literally anything. And she just negates it. She's going to cut the damage by 60%, guys. She intercepts 60% of that damage, and then she cuts it by about 15. So she takes a lot of the scariness of these AoEs, takes all the damage herself. I've seen Hercules throw a column with crit damage up, attack up, and the only person that dies is Snow White, and then she comes back alive. So we're going to talk about Snow White in more detail on another video, but by far, that's my favorite thing about her is her Sleeping Death passive. But we've got a lot more to see, and we have a lot to kind of dig into. So initial impressions and my initial thoughts, guys, take your time farming these guys. Work on Grumpy, then work on the others that we listed to go ahead, get them up. Again, you need them all at 6-star. Take Sneezy to 5-star, and you don't have to farm Doc. That's going to be the quickest way to get Sleeping Beauty. Snow White on the first go-around within 21 days. Long time to farm these characters. We've got a lot of guides coming. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed today's video. A little bit different, all in one take here. And if I get enough comments below, we'll go ahead and I'll just upload a bunch of battles with these guys so you can get a gist on how they work. Now, if you want to go ahead and see them live, I will be streaming the raid this week. You can go ahead and check out my Twitch channel down in the description. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, guys, as we are not going anywhere and we've got a lot of videos to come. Because the best part, and let me say this real quick, the best part is that we're going to have the farming guide and the tier list coming because Snow White has now been launched. So, my friends, if you haven't already, again, subscribe. And until next time, stay cozy.